Welcome to the Lowdown on Ridertown with the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders at 94.1 KRNA. Thank you all very much for coming out, braving the weather and the cold conditions to join us here at the Union Station. We do this show every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. Runs from 6 to 6:30 here at the Union Station, and want to thank them for having us throughout the season as we have this show. Once again, a reminder that this show is all about getting to know this team better, getting to know the players, the staff, the coaches, everyone on this team. We'll take some time, recap games, and look ahead, but overall, it's a chance to kind of go beyond the box score, so to speak, and get to know some of these players a little better. A reminder that the podcast for this is up every single week at KRNA.com. For instance, last week's show is up right now at our website. There's also a link at our Facebook page. We try to get the podcast up a few days after the show, so by Friday it should definitely be up there for sure, and we're pretty good about shooting a link out whenever we get that posted. Another reminder, if you don't feel like asking questions during the show, I know sometimes people are shy, don't want to throw out questions, you can email those questions to me if you have something pressing on your mind that you want me to ask Coach. You can email me. My email address is coop@krna.com. My name is Chad Cooper. I'm with 94.1 KRNA. Fortunate to be here again this season. This is our third broadcast of the Lowdown on Ridertown, and I'm joined this week by Coach Mark Carlson and two players. We're joined by two Andrews this week, Andrew Goss and Andrew Ogilvie. Thanks, guys, for making the time and spending some time here with us tonight.
No problem.
Let's take a few moments like we usually do at the start of this show to go over a little bit of a recap of last weekend's action. It was a tale of two weekends for Rough Riders. They really came on strong last weekend and avenged two losses to Youngstown by beating Youngstown on the road. Reversal of fortunes, a 6-1 win over Youngstown on Friday night, and then a 5-0 win over that same Youngstown team on Saturday. That moves the Rough Riders to 28-10 on the season, 56 points overall. That's first in the Eastern Conference and currently the best record in all of the USHL. And Coach, I'll start there with you. Thoughts on last weekend's games that went over to Youngstown and got two solid victories?
Well, I thought it was a good weekend overall for the guys, Coop. Two hard-fought games and two good wins, and the ride home was a lot better through all that snow, that's for sure.
And as you look at this as a coach, what have been the differences between the homestand against Youngstown and then this past weekend, kind of a reversal of fortunes, where it dropped two and then we're able to take two this past weekend against them?
Yeah, well, I mean, we, for the most part, we move on, win or lose, real quick. I mean, we might refer to something, real quickly during the week that happened the week prior, but our deal is we kind of move on and, try to live in the present. I thought that, we did a real good job on the penalty kill for sure in Youngstown. The guys were 10 for 10 on that, so that was a huge plus. The power play, scored some big goals for us. Both goalies, played extremely well. And so we had a real good team effort, throughout the entire lineup.
And I'll start down on this end with the players. Andrew, I wonder if you could give us an idea of kind of your background in the game of hockey. I'll be sure to make sure I try to sparse the Andrews out tonight. They threw me for a wrench tonight, but we'll start with Ogilvie. And Andrew, every time we have a player on the show, we like to kind of give a little bit of a background, their background, not only in the game of hockey, but just in life before they got here to the Rough Riders and to Cedar Rapids. I wonder if you could take a few minutes and kind of explain your background.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm from California originally, so I grew up playing hockey out there for the LA Selects. And then my sophomore year, I decided to go to Culver Military Academy. That's in Indiana. And then after that, I decided to come to Cedar Rapids, and here I am.
Now, maybe I'm a little naive on things as far as hockey is concerned, but when we look at California, that doesn't seem like the hotbed of hockey. How did you get involved in the sport out there, and how did you get interested in hockey in the first place?
Well, my mom is a native of New York, so she grew up watching the Rangers, and she was a very big Mark Messier fan. So she would kind of got my dad into it, and I went skating for I think my 4th, 5th birthday, something like that, and I loved it, and she signed me up for skating classes and got me my own pair of skates and stuff, so kind of never looked back after that.
And what's the transition been like coming from California? You said you bounced around a little bit before this, but coming from California and then here to Cedar Rapids, what's that transition been like, getting used to the area and getting used to this team?
Well, obviously, the weather's a little bit different scenery, but it's been easy. Had a lot of good buddies here, and it's been really fun. Been very fortunate.
And Andrew Goss, I'll move on to you, kind of your background in the game of hockey and before you got here with the organization here in Cedar Rapids.
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I started playing hockey when I was like 3 years old. Played for the Junior Penguins and Pittsburgh Hornets growing up. And then for my sophomore and junior years of high school, I went up to Connecticut to play prep school hockey. And then after my junior year, I came out to Iowa and played in the USHL.
And what initially got you interested in the game? Are you kind of from a region that's hockey's a little more popular, at least from common knowledge it is? Is that what kind of got you started in the game in the first place?
Yeah, no, my dad was a hockey player up into college, and he got me on skates as soon as I could and never looked back, I guess.
When you came here to the Rough Riders and to the USHL, what was your biggest adjustment coming to this league and having to adapt?
I just think the consistency that every night you have to be at your best and play in two zones, play defensively as well as you do offensively.
And Andrew Ogilvie, I'll ask you the same question too. What was the biggest adjustment for you coming into this league?
The strength and the speed. I'm a smaller guy, so I kind of had to adjust to, playing at a fast pace all the time, and, the strength of the league is obviously a lot tougher than I was used to at the time, so that was my biggest adjustment.
I wanted to ask both you guys, there was an interesting story in the Gazette this past week. I don't know if anybody happened a chance to see it or read it or not, but it was all about sticks and stick preparation and how much lead time goes into getting those sticks ready. Every player kind of has their own preferences. I wondered if you guys could give me your individual prep or routine with your sticks and how you kind of go about doing that. I'll start on this end with Andrew Ogilvie.
Yeah, well, great video by Casey Jerry. Really described it perfectly there, so props to him. But no, I really don't spend too much time on my stick. I don't really think about it too much. I kind of just fresh tape job on the blade before every game, throw a little bit of wax on it, and that's about it. I don't really mess with it too much. Black tape, yeah.
How about you, Andrew Goss? You kind of have the same laid-back approach, or are you a little more particular when it comes to your stick?
No, I'm a little pickier. I think besides my roommate Foley over there, I'm probably the pickiest on the team. I like to use a one-piece, so I've given Ipper, our equipment manager, a harder time than most this year, but as long as I have fresh tape between periods and before every game, I'm pretty happy.
When they showed that stick prep room, that looks like kind of a war room in there with all the different things. What did they say? A blowtorch, a saw, everything you can think of, kind of within that room. And you guys utilize that blowtorch at all? That seemed like an interesting tool to use.
Well, I think some of the D-men who are a little taller, like Logan and Bryce Hatton, who need to put plugs in their sticks, use it more than others.
Coach, were you that particular about your sticks back in your playing days? That video seemed pretty involved. I wondered if that's something that's been an age-old tradition in hockey.
Well, Coop, with my finesse game, the stick was real important. So, I spent hours on my blades, before games, piling up all those points in college hockey. So, no, I tape on there and just get out there and go up and down the wing. That was about it.
Now, 11 different players on this team had at least 1 point this weekend in that first game against Youngstown. Coach, I wondered if you could kind of give us an idea of what that says about the talent across this team and kind of the fact that you have a lot of balance on the squad, or at least that's what it appears like.
Well, I think hopefully it helps our guys continue to learn and understand that we need every guy ready to go every single night, and we've had a number of games like that this year. We've had a lot of guys contribute, and I know it sounds cliche, but every night it's a different guy, and it might be a guy that's put up a lot of points already, or it might be a guy that maybe hasn't got a lot of points yet but scores a huge goal or has a huge assist or whatever it may be. I feel that we're a true team. We've got to have everybody going to have success, and we had that last weekend.
You mentioned at the start of this season there was a quote in an article that you felt good about this team coming in because it was made up of guys that you said truly love the game of hockey. I wondered if you could explain from a coach's standpoint exactly what that means and kind of what you meant by the fact that a lot of these guys on this team really truly love the game of hockey.
Well, I think, Coop, in any sport you have people that play it and they kind of enjoy it and they kind of like being around it. It's pretty good, and they might play it at a high level even at the pro level. But our group here this year, I got the feel throughout the summer just with phone calls and texting and conversations and seeing guys in camp that we just had tons of guys that just absolutely loved the game and wanted to get better and loved being on the ice, and then when they all got here and we kind of saw what kind of people we had, and I guess we have a tremendous group of human beings on this team that just good, solid people, and they all kind of take care of each other and look after each other. And I mean, we saw it today. I mean, I started counting today, I don't know, we had 13, 14, 15 guys on the ice maybe before practice working on things. And then I went out of my office today, even after practice, just to look. And I don't do that to check on anybody, but there were so many guys still on the ice working on stuff that I just wanted to take a look. And there was just tons of guys out there again just working to get better at the game they love.
And I'll ask you guys about that too, Andrew. I'll start on your end. Ogilvy, what's the spirit I like on this team, and do you kind of feel that as well? There's a real love of the game of hockey, and you guys kind of put in the extra hours even above and beyond what you usually would as a team?
Yeah, this team's very driven, very motivated, and I think this team pushes each other very well. And like Coach said, a lot of guys that love the game of hockey.
I'll also ask you, what's the environment been like on this team, and how have you kind of interpreted that?
Yeah, no, I agree with both Coach and Ogie. A lot of guys get there early in the mornings and stay late into the night, and I just think everyone's trying to get better every day, and that's what we need to get where we want to go.
Take a moment real quick here in between questions to remind everybody that the Rough Riders' next game is this Friday, February 6th at 7:05 against Dubuque. It's going to be mascot night out at the stable. That's a fan favorite, presented by Dupaco Community Credit Union. Now their Prairie Farms Dairy Cowbell Cup matchup with Dubuque coming into town. The first 300 fans through the doors will receive a special Rough Riders Solo Cup compliments of Dupaco with a special gift inside. And that kind of segues into my next question. I was going to ask the players, the Riders, they're known for their game night promotions and Friday's mascot night. What's been your favorite promotion in your time at the Rough Riders that you've seen come across the line? Anything that sticks out? Maybe seeing those mascots out on the ice every now and then. Andrew, I'll start on your end with Ogilvy.
I don't know one promotion that we've had.
That's illuminating in and of itself. And Goss, is there anything that stands out in your mind? Anything, or have you been totally oblivious to Riders promotions?
No, a couple of weeks ago, I think we had the wiener dog races, and I have a wiener dog back home, so I thought that was pretty cool.
I heard a lot of good stuff about the wiener dog races. Got a lot of good feedback about that event. Coach, I wondered if you wanted to chime in. Were the wiener dog races one of your favorite highlights of the season so far?
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of. I just saw people holding their wiener dogs at the Zam door. But I was trying to focus on winning a tilt, so I didn't see too much of it. But I know that our staff does, Jeff Yock and his staff, they do a tremendous job of putting on the promotions. I know the fans have a ton of fun with it. The mascots, just a little note to them that hopefully they won't try to start fights with the other team. We had that happen a couple weeks ago, and that's not advised. We like the spirit, but not advised. So hopefully the mascots will be on good behavior tomorrow night, or Friday night.
So if we have anybody out here in the audience who's going incognito as a mascot on Friday night, just be sure not to start fights with the opposing team. So some mascots, I know they like to stay under the radar a little bit. So who knows who we've got out in the audience tonight. But kind of staying on that theme, but getting a little more community-based, the team, the players, this organization tries to stay pretty active in the community. I wanted to ask you guys, I'll start down at this end as we've been starting with Andrew Ogilvy. What's it been like to get out in this community, and has there been an event or something that the Riders have done in your mind that you've participated in that's kind of been a highlight for you or something you've really enjoyed?
Yeah, we're very involved. I know that at least every week, maybe every other week, I go to Meals on Wheels and deliver to elderly families and elderly people. And then my favorite would have to be the event they have out in Vinton, where there's like a kind of a ball hockey game they have out in Vinton. I know me and Dylan and a few guys have gone to that for some consecutive years here, so that's definitely my favorite. But they're all great.
Goss, is there something that stands out in your mind or something that you particularly enjoy about getting out in the community and going to events like that?
Yeah, no, I think it's great to get out and help the community. They mean a lot to us and our team, so I think the biggest thing that I liked was around Christmas time when we took a bunch of toys to St. Luke's Hospital. I think me and 3 other guys, and we had so many toys that we couldn't even give them all away, but I think just to see the smile on some of those kids' faces put a lot of things in perspective for us.
And Coach, I wondered from a coaching standpoint and a general manager, where that community-based approach comes like with this organization, if that's something that's really a focus success for you guys and for this organization as a whole?
Oh, for sure. I think it starts with our ownership and our front office, and and the coaching staff. We're certainly behind it. I think the players enjoy it. I was out at Bowman Woods Elementary this morning there with the third graders, and talking to about 60 or 70 of the kids there about coaching and kind of what that was like. And so that was really cool to spend some time with with a lot of youngsters this morning. So I enjoy getting out there and doing that myself.
I think we spent some time last year talking about this on last season's show, but I wondered if you could give us kind of an idea of what the Rough Riders do specifically as far as hockey is concerned, about kind of having community outreach and getting kind of youth hockey. We know that Cedar Rapids is, before the Rough Riders came around, really hockey wasn't really a presence around here. We've seen that grow over the years, and I wonder some of your efforts to kind of raise that up within the youth community and then follow that through.
Well, I guess first of all, we try to make ourselves, available at all times to any of the young players here, and also coaches as well, because although the Rough Riders are very popular, there aren't a lot of people around with with exposure to the game, starting at the youth level. So our players can always help out, and I know we're gonna have I don't think they know it yet, but Larks and Benny Blacker are going to be helping out the young goalies here in town, starting next week a little bit, and maybe Coach Connolly as well. So we like those opportunities, and we want to get out and help whenever we can, and we enjoy it.
Something I like to ask players when they come on is what is it like to live with a host family? That's something that's pretty unique with the USHL and with this level of hockey. That not only do you acclimate to a new community, but also in many respects, in many instances, a new family. And I'll start with you first, Andrew Goss, to kind of give me an idea of what it's like to kind of acclimate to your host family and what that's been like.
It's a pretty cool experience. I've been fortunate enough to have an unbelievable host family. I have the Bandowitzes back there, Janelle, Doug, Nick, and Brian, and then I have two great roommates in Cal and Foley. So I think we're the only guys on the team with a triple. So it's pretty awesome down there in the basement at nights, and things from ping pong tournaments to snap stories, and I think it's just a great experience and something that not many kids our age get to experience, and really fortunate.
Ogilvy, how about you? How's that been with the host family and that kind of that acclimation?
Yeah, it's been really good for me. I've been with my housing family, Brad and Jenny Johnson, for all 4 years now. And so I've got to see their little daughter, Karis, grow up, and I've got to welcome the new baby Breck into the family and whatnot. So it's been a really cool experience just watching the kids grow up and just see how much Brad and Jenny care about me and stuff. So it's been really nice.
And Andrew Ogilvy, you're from California originally, and you've committed to Notre Dame. I wondered if you could give us an idea of what went into that thought process and why you ultimately settled on Notre Dame as a destination to continue your hockey career in college.
Yeah, I just, I met with the coaches, and I took a tour on campus and whatnot, and it just, it was, the best feeling for me, and, I just, I liked it the best out of any school, and, I liked the coaching staff, so it was an easy decision.
And Andrew Goss, I'll move on to you. Your commitment as far as college is concerned, and what went into your decision to attend the college you're going to?
I think just life after hockey. I think going to school at Yale will help set me up once my hockey career is over, whenever that is, and that's basically all.
And in case anyone missed it, Andrew Goss is attending Yale. I don't really need to say much more than that. That's pretty impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, it is.
Also, having someone like Chuck Curdy go to Yale with you makes it just that much more exciting.
There we go. Coach, what's it like to have two Yale incomers like having on your team? What's that like?
Well, I don't think we got to give Notre Dame some credit, too.
Yeah, I know Notre Dame's a pretty nice institution, too. We got some pretty high flyers here tonight.
It's hard for the coach because most guys are smarter than the coach, so you got to be on the ball every day with these guys.
For sure. In a league, Coach, where players can come and go, there's acquisitions, there's roster moves. I wondered, in your mind, what's the key to consistency on a team and being able to maintain that success for the most part year in and year out when you can have players come and go and rosters change so frequently?
Well, I think, I think it's kind of a good topic for today because it was, NCAA football. It was signing day. So there's a lot of stuff about scouting and recruiting and all those kinds of things on ESPN today. A lot of people probably saw that, but I think a lot of it just goes into our staff working hard to get the right people, like all our guys. We have a lot of players here, at the show tonight, which is great, and going out and doing the best we can to identify not only good players, but good people that are hungry, that are going to be good in the community, that aren't going to be out doing things that they couldn't be doing, guys that are dedicated, those types of things. And we've been fortunate to be able to bring lots of good people in here over the years, and that certainly has been the main key to being consistent.
Keeping in that vein, there was an article last month that was focused on prep players, and this roster has its fair share. I wondered if you have a particular preference, and if so, what comes from that, and what are the advantages of getting players and recruiting them from the prep ranks?
Well, the prep guys are usually harder to get. Sometimes you got to make home visits and convince mom and dad that that it's going to be the right thing to do to have their boy leave a private school where they're getting a great education. But the positive there is we've got great schools out here, all over the district here in Cedar Rapids, and also Linn-Mar, and a great school in Xavier there that some players have attended there over the years. So we do have a great education here as well. But I think it's just about convincing mom and dad that we have great housing families here, and that as a coaching staff, and we're going to do the best job we can to take care of their boys when they're here.
Going back a little bit to the atmosphere at the stable, I'll ask both you guys as players. Anyone who's been to the stable, they know quite an environment, and the music plays a big part in that. I wondered if you guys as players, have any feedback or any suggestions as far as the music is concerned, and if there is something that you wanted to hear at a game, what would it be as far as music is concerned? I'll start on this end with Andrew Ogilvie.
Well, personally, I used to like when they had the Pancheros Burrito Pump It Up thing going, but that's kind of faded away a little bit, so I kind of like to see that come back. But
Goss, how about you?
When I didn't play for the Rough Riders and I came to the stable, my favorite thing was that beginning where we come out, but I think that's kind of gotten a little old for me in the past 60 games or so. But I like that Pancheros thing too. I think during the TV timeout, everyone kind of got into that. But yeah. So. And
I know anyone who's been to an Iowa basketball or football game knows all about the Pancheros burrito lift. That's it's a pretty popular one at those games too. I'll ask you guys overall about the atmosphere at the stable. What's that like to play, not only at the stable, but also a unique thing with players I always like to ask is, night in and night out, you guys are playing in front of a couple thousand people on most nights. What's that like for a fairly young player to be in front of and play in front of crowds like that? Andrew Ogilvie, I'll start with you.
yeah, it's exhilarating. It's gets your blood boiling a little bit, gets everyone excited and jacked up. So it's different too. Coming from playing, just U16 hockey or whatever, there's not really a crowd. There's kind of this mom and pop in the stands. So, it definitely gets you going.
Goss, how about you? What's it like to play in the atmosphere night in and night out in the USHL?
It's unbelievable. I think, especially the stable. With the amount of fans we get every night, and it's just such a cool barn. The way all the people do it up top with the lights and stuff. I think it helps us. Especially when we get like 4,000 like we had the other night against Youngstown and Green Bay. I think it helps the team a lot.
Coach, we'll touch on Dubuque here in the next couple minutes, but first I wanted to get your thoughts on last week. We talked about an acquisition that you made, bringing Joe Wegworth on from Green Bay. I wondered if you could kind of give us an idea how that transition is going and how that move has kind of progressed so far.
Yeah, it's going well. It's going well. Joe's here tonight, and he's another guy that's headed to Notre Dame, and we're certainly happy he's here. Got off to a good start last weekend, and was right at the net front there on a couple power play goals. So that was that was nice. And like all of our guys, they'll keep getting better, every day.
With the last final minutes we have tonight, I want to give some time on the back end. The Rough Riders are going to raffle some things off tonight, so I want to touch on thoughts on Dubuque before we wrap up. I'll first start with the players. Usually always a heated rivalry when you guys play Dubuque. I wondered if you could kind of give me your thoughts on the challenges they present as a team and kind of your overall scouting report on Dubuque. Ogilvie, I'll start on your end.
Yeah, for us, we don't really care who we play. We kind of just prepare the same way and go out and play. And we want to get the win every night.
Goss, same sentiment from you?
Yeah, exactly the same.
And Coach, is it a triple threat?
Oh, these guys are well schooled.
Yeah, they're well schooled, very well schooled, yeah.
I love it.
And you guys, once again, a reminder that it's a home and away series with Dubuque this coming weekend. First game is Friday. That's going to be at the Stable, and that's mascot night, as we've already mentioned. And Saturday, they're headed up to Dubuque to take on the Saints up there. A reminder as well that this show, you can catch it every Wednesday night except for next Wednesday night, because the Riders are going to have a home game against Des Moines. So get on out to the Stable. It's a 7:05 start. We'll be back here on the 18th for another edition of the Lowdown on Ridertown. You can email questions to Coop at KRNA.com, and you can find this podcast up at KRNA.com as well. Usually by Thursday or Friday afternoon at the latest, we'll have it posted up there. I want to thank both Andrews and Coach Carlson for joining me again this week. Thanks, guys, for making the time.
Thanks, Cooper.
No problem.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out for the Lowdown on Ridertown.